So bring the feet to hip distance apart or shoulder distance apart, whatever's more comfortable. You've done this a few times now, so just go ahead and set the posture. Continue setting the posture. Just want to double check something. Okay, good. All right. So from here, do a very quick body scan since the mind should already be pretty calm. Start in the feet, ankles, calves, knees, lower thighs, upper thighs, hips and sexual organs, waist, diaphragm belt, chest belt, both shoulders, both bicep regions, both elbows, both forearms, both wrists, palms and back of hands, and first knuckles, second, third fingertips, lower third of your neck, middle third of your neck, upper third of your neck, skull, top of the skull, both hands, both feet, 5 points, forward, releasing the 5 points, front, back, left, right, hold 4 directions, front, back, left, right. Adding on up and down if you can, front, back, left, right, up, down, 6 directions. Adding a layer of challenge now. So open the eyes, divide the attention about 70% on vision, about 30% on the body. So keep the body, full body awareness active. Now open the eyes, let them gaze to the front. Become aware of front and back with the eyes. And as you refresh the directions with the eyes, also refresh the directions with the body at the same time. But keep again about 70% or so of your bandwidth in the eyes. Left, right, up, down. One more time. Front, visual tactile. Back, visual tactile. Left, visual tactile. Right, visual tactile. Up, visual tactile. Down, visual tactile. If you can't hold all four directions open, then keep up, down, left, right open with the eyes and front, back, left, right open with the body. So hold either 4 or 6 directions with both the body and the eyes. It's the eyes. Release the visual awareness. Stay with the body. Now we're going to open the auditory gate for the first time. So just as we discussed at the end of the last session, and we're going to do this exercise again right now, opening a sensory gate in a particular direction doesn't depend on there being anything there to be experienced by that gate. So with your eyes closed, see the darkness of your eyelids being closed, just like having a computer monitor that's all black. And use your mental awareness to move to the far left of the monitor, the far left of the dark screen, and the far right of the dark screen, the upper part, the lower part. And you'll notice that it's a little bit harder than when your eyes are open, probably, but you can still move your mind around inside a field when there's nothing there to behold, or very, very little to behold. Likewise, in a very similar way, most of your auditory field is going to be empty. There's not going to be anything to hear there, which makes it more difficult. Also, the auditory field is significantly more formless in terms of its in terms of its subjective experience than is vision. Vision seems to be at least very much made up of forms and shapes and things that your mind can grab onto, even if you're zooming out. With the auditory field, it's different because the sound is a bit more ephemeral. And technically, I suppose it has a shape, and obviously, it's a physical thing, but it's getting much closer to something that's formless in terms of your subjective experience. So when you open the auditory field, just like having your eyes closed and nonetheless opening the visual field, you're going to reach your awareness of sound in a particular direction. And those of you who have done this with me before, just hang in there for the instructions. For those of you who are new, think about it in this way. I want you to imagine, just for a moment, that you were walking alone at night and you're carrying something in your hands that's heavy. So it'd be difficult to run away, but you're also not too far from home. So you're feeling relatively comfortable. But then you think you hear someone behind you, but you don't want to turn around, right? Because you're so close to your front door. You have something heavy in your hands. So you don't want to turn around. So what do? You turn all your auditory power behind you, don't you? Now, we've all been in this situation or one similar to it where you don't want to turn around, but you still want to become aware of what's behind you. And so you put all your auditory power, you aim it behind yourself and you listen. What am I hearing behind me? What is that sound? So, in this example, imagine that you don't hear anything behind you. Nonetheless, it's entirely possible to point, even when you don't hear anything, to point all of your awareness in terms of sound awareness, auditory awareness behind you, isn't it? So this is something you've done before. Likewise, if any of you have ever lived somewhere where people lived above you and you weren't sure what was happening upstairs, imagine that there's someone above you in the flat that you're in, the apartment you're in, the building that you're in, or if you're not in a place where that's happened to you, maybe you're not sure if there's rodents in the attic or something, right? There's something above you in the ceiling. And you think you hear something above you, and so you turn all of your auditory awareness upward, as if you're listening out. You're trying to hear, is there something there? Am I hearing something? And then imagine, as happens more often than not, that there no more sounds come, right? So nonetheless, just like having your eyes closed and being able to move your awareness around within the visual field, even when there's nothing there to see, your mind is perfectly capable of moving around in the area, let's say, the spatial area of the auditory field, even when there's nothing there to hear. The big difference, of course, is that the auditory field stretches out for thousands of miles. Isn't it so that you can hear things that are thousands of miles away? This is true. So when you stretch out the auditory field, you stretch out the field as if you're trying to hear something really far away in that direction. The auditory field is absolutely massive. Auditory consciousness is capable of generating experiences of sound that originate, of course, they have to hit your eardrum, but your ear, your auditory awareness will generate an object, an experience that the sound came from really far away, right? Thousands of miles away, potentially. And so the origination of the sound, the direction your mind will place that object that's producing the sound, is thousands of miles away. So the mind, the auditory consciousness, is already trained up, actually, to reach out for thousands of miles in every direction in a not completely formless way, but a significantly, in terms of your subjective experience of it, significantly more formless type of awareness. So listening consciousness, auditory consciousness is a really nice bridge to becoming aware of mental consciousness, because there's a lot less to grab onto, and it's so huge, and it seems to just be floating in space, so to speak, um, with the ability to reach out for thousands of miles in every direction. So auditory consciousness, much harder than visual consciousness to open, but hopefully with these instructions you have some sense of what it might be like to open it in one direction. So let's give it a try. If you need to sit down to give this a go for the first time, I totally understand. I'm not gonna, no problem with that. If you want to carry on with standing, you're more than welcome to carry on standing with me. Okay, so keeping 10–20% of the awareness in the body is fine. You don't want to fall over, but bring every bit of bandwidth you can, the remaining 80% if you can, to the auditory field. And now I want you to try to become aware, even if there's nothing there. Just like when you're listening out for something, you're trying to hear if something could be there. Point all of your auditory awareness to the front for the furthest distance you can to the front. And if you happen to hear something, don't point your mind at it. Just let it occur within the field, right? In the same way that you're not looking at anything on the screen, when you open the auditory awareness, you're not pointing that awareness at any particular sound. You're just opening the awareness in that direction, preparing it to hear whatever occurs. By way of analogy, you're looking at the entire computer monitor instead of looking at the objects on the monitor. Likewise, here you're directing the if your ears are like a microphone, you're turning up the sensitivity of the microphone to 1,000, pointing it to the front, and just whatever happens to occur, it's ready to take in each sound that might occur without stopping on anything and without pointing at anything in particular, besides the front direction. Okay, let that go. Point it to behind you now, to the back. Let that go. Point it to the left. Let that go. Point it to the right. Let that go. Point it upward. Good. Let that go and point it downward. This one's a bit more difficult because we don't listen downward very often. So my suggestion is just to get it going, and you don't want to do a lot of imagination stuff or you're not doing the real thing, but just to get it going, imagine you're standing on a plane and you're trying to hear all the way to the ground. And then as soon as you feel that the awareness opens up for a couple thousand miles below you, then let go of the imagination and just stay with the hearing being open below you. Otherwise, it quite often it'll stop at the floor, and that's not where the field stops. Okay, my friends, that's our 30 minutes. Ah, yes. So the great texts for Luch, the great texts say this is actually a beginner's practice, believe it or not. It says this wondrous technique is suitable for both advanced practitioners and for people who are new. So this isn't a bad place to start. But if you're going to jump into the retreat and you have a little bit of time, go back and watch maybe the first video, second video, do some intensive breath, then maybe jump to like the third, fourth video and do some body scanning so that you can become more, make the mind more calm, more stable, because it'll be easier to do this if you do that. Yeah. Okay. I'll see everyone in 26 minutes. Be on time, please. See you then.